Oh, hey there. I want to talk to you about NXT and SmackDown. Hi guys, welcome back to the WrestleMania podcast.
Yay.
Link's had a rough week. We've had 5 days of essential night shifts of watching wrestling non-stop.
Yeah.
6 if you include Hall of Fame, 7 if you include Raw, but we only did 5 live on Twitch, and that is the knackering part.
I've done 7 because I did the other 2 both in Discord as well.
You did, so you did those over in our Discord. So if you're not in Discord, links in the description as always, guys.
I've still got 2 to go.
Yeah, you're a fool. You're a fool. Shall we? We're gonna start with NXT because that's what we started with this week. We did like a little teaser with that as well. A little bit of a fun predictions. It was worth noting it was me, Pete, Link, Maggie, our regular, Boosh, the wrestling decent wrestling expert, and Kirsty. And Maggie, the guy that has no clue about wrestling, actually beat Boosh on the prediction. So it's worth noting right at the start of the podcast, Boosh, you suck.
Fair. Fair. Well, I'll tell you a story.
Yeah.
A few years ago, back, I'd say probably 2012.
Story time.
They got a random message from Boosh. We were like, we've known each other years, so we're speaking through, I think it was Facebook Messenger. It might have even been Xbox Live at the time. But he sends me this message. It's like, Brock Lesnar's going to return on Raw tomorrow night and beat up John Cena. And that was pretty much it. He's like, it's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. You know, there's no rumors of this anywhere. This was not rumored to happen. This wasn't going to happen. It happened exactly as he said. And it was just like, huh? No one knew it was coming. Like, absolutely no one knew it was coming. It was when Brock first came back.
Yeah, I remember it.
No one knew it was coming. And for some reason, he just randomly was speaking to me about it. It was just like, Brock Lesnar's coming back. He's going to murder John Cena on Raw. And he was 100% correct. It's
so
just
he
like, what?
clearly just stopped watching wrestling, hasn't he, all these years? Eh?
Well, I know he watches a lot of indie stuff now. He doesn't just stick to WWE anymore. So
we're still not going to let him off. He still lost the Magic.
Might just be a bit out of touch.
Yeah. Maggie still beat him.
Yeah,
Maggie voted Santo Escobar because he knows a guy. He knows the name Escobar. Yeah, it's like
the most famous drug lord of all time. That's why Maggie went for it.
To be fair, it got him a point.
It did. It absolutely did. So we'll get to that. Start of the show, we had a little pre-show, a match that we thought was going to be a relatively easy match for Toni Storm. Toni Storm lost to Zoe Stark, so
yeah,
we was thinking Toni might be pushed back up towards the title picture. She gets put on a pre-show and she loses.
Yeah, we were wrong.
It was a good match though.
It was a weird start to an NXT couple of days. Let's be real, because it was
the pre-show though, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was weird that she was on the pre-show and then lost on the pre-show as well. It's like, okay. This is the former NXT UK champion. Sorry, Pete.
NXT have got a fair few women on there at the minute, so I wonder if it's getting a bit overcrowded with them on there.
Plus, just think about what you said there, NXT UK Women's Champion.
Yeah, but like Zoe Stark's done nothing as such, really. She's won a couple of matches.
She's been there for the last couple of weeks on the main NXT.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's given that push by beating Toni Storm.
Yeah.
Yep. And then, so we obviously didn't even know where that one was, so we'll just sort of move on. But it was a good match start the whole week, I guess. Pete Dunne, Kushida, that was a good match. That was a good match, as we expected. Only went 10 minutes, which wasn't as long as I was expecting, to be fair. But Pete Dunne picking up the win. Represent!
I think that was the story of the weekend, to be fair. Quite a lot of the matches were short.
Pretty much,
well,
yeah.
I say weekend, it's week, but...
Except from... None were really disappointing They were short.
None of them were
short
bad.
matches.
I was quite glad that they were short in some respects.
Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole was a long match.
But that had a big story to tell.
Yeah, do you know how long
You
that
couldn't
match
have gone
was?
in there. You couldn't have gone in that match and had a
15 minutes?
15.
Yeah.
You were closer if you said 50.
Really?
It's 40 minutes long.
Jesus.
wow. It didn't seem that long.
Didn't seem that long.
So whether it's usually right, but whether this is wrong, I can't see it being wrong after 4 days of it being up on there. 5 days I've been up on Wikipedia. It's usually not wrong.
No, and
That's long.
they couldn't have had a short match in that because they were both battered, and you couldn't have had a quick match. But yeah, it didn't seem that long. I'll be honest.
Some of this, guys, it's hard NXT because it's like I've had so much wrestling we forgot about a lot of it already.
Yeah.
We also had
Lots of wrestling, very little sleep.
Bronson Reed won the North American Championship title shot.
I was happy with that.
In the gauntlet match. That was brilliant. Walter versus Ciampa for the NXT UK Championship.
That was a great match.
Superb match. Obviously went the way that we were expecting. Even me and Pete that went Ciampa, but we both went Ciampa because of technical reasons. So we thought
Walter was going to retain.
Walter was going to retain, yeah. So it was going to be that he got himself DQ'd, which would have given Ciampa the win, of course, on paper. So that's the only reason we went it. So it was super obvious that it was going to be that way, but a great match nonetheless.
I think that was my favourite match.
The tag match was the one I just couldn't get into as much. MSK beating Grizzled Young Veterans and Legado del Fantasma.
I think the reason for that was the match before. It was such a good match.
Yeah. When you put Volta and Ciampa and you put that in the middle of the card, and then you have a main event after this tag match, it's difficult to get stuck in. Then, of course, we had the big title change. Raquel Gonzalez is now the NXT Women's Champion. I would say a long time coming, but it's not really a long time coming. But we know it's been coming. Raquel Gonzalez has been built too big. She wrote Rhea off of telly for a while, and then Rhea's ended up on the main roster. But we'll get to her later on. For sure. Io Shirai, in fact, in that match, I think that was a very good match. There was lots of really good spots in that match, but Io Shirai, is there anything else you can say about that match? To be honest, boys,
I don't think she's ever done anything wrong in wrestling. To be honest with you,
I think it was just time for change it up a bit. But yeah, she's done well in every single match I've seen her in.
So,
I mean, our Japanese champion is no longer our Japanese champion, so maybe we will be getting a new Japanese contender coming into this mix up on the main roster.
Which I think would be really good, a really good match.
Yeah. Well, we'll sort of get to that because I want to talk about the sort of the state of the women's rosters over there because I can see a change that's happened on the main rosters and it's good. It's a good thing for once. But I think night one was a great start to the week. It built up really nicely. It made it so that we knew it got me hyped for the entire week. I'm not sat there going after night one going, ugh.
Night one of NXT was good. It was good. It wasn't.
It was exactly what it was. You didn't want it to blow your socks off because you didn't want to be over. Like you don't want to be sat there for the entire week going, but it wasn't as good as NXT. It wasn't as good.
That's what I was about to say. I'm glad.
Which I actually said it. I'll get to that point. But yes, it was good. It was good.
Night two then, lads. We had Killian Dane and Drake Maverick beating Breezango on the pre-show for a chance to the tag team titles, which means we now have MSK versus Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. That's a curious one. Curious is the right word, I think. Politically correct is the right thing. Is curious.
It's face versus face, isn't it? So it's like, nah.
But then changed it up a bit though. Putting someone different up there.
Yeah. Breezango were faces still, though, aren't they?
Yeah.
So even weirder. So whatever we ended up, we were going to end up with a face versus a face for the next title match. Very odd.
Not if they let Grizzled Young Veterans win the match, which they should have done. But hey, they definitely should have done. I don't care. I'm still angry about that one. That bugs me.
One day they'll give him a shot.
Soon. Sorry.
Nice play. Then we had Maggi's mate. He won the title against Jordan Devlin. Santos Escobar. He won the Cruiserweight Championship, which is not actually what I saw coming.
No, it shocked all of us, I think. That.
Like, I fully thought it was going to be Jordan.
I thought it was going to be Devlin.
Because it was like the fact they've made him, and they've made it very clear that he's the interim NXT Cruiserweight Champion this entire time.
Well, the fact that Devlin's held the belt this it's a year basically, isn't it? Since he had to go away, for him to have held the belt the entire time rather than just vacated it,
and then come back and drop it. Yeah,
seems bizarre.
But like it was said though by Bush, maybe it's a lot to do with Shawn Michaels backing. He's a big fan of Devlin, and he was saying that he said like he deserved to have that match to lose it,
rather than just having a vacated because of things out of his control.
Yeah, I can't say I disagree with that.
Yeah, no, Bush mentioned that when he was with us on Twitch. Yeah, if you weren't watching this on Twitch, why were you not watching this on Twitch? Link in the description.
Fantastic. We had a fantastic week on Twitch.
We did.
You would have known that if you did.
With the finale, we had a finale last night, didn't we, boys?
Yeah.
And then some. Ember Moon and Shotzi retain the titles. I'm
happy with that.
I had them down to win, but did I see it come in as such? Not really. I thought they might give Candice a chance to have a title at some point, but
I thought the way was going to take that one. I'm not gonna lie. Like I've done really bad throughout the NXT predictions here. I haven't really think it's.
Well, I mean, I think I knew they were. I predict they were going to hold it because I think they'll hold it for another couple of months, and then I think you're going to see them both maybe step up to the Raw or SmackDown. Ember Moon will get that shot again.
Oh,
and I think Shotzi will be really good. Them two will step up to the to Raw or SmackDown.
See, but mate, you keep saying about stepping up, and it's like, well, maybe we're not. If we're coming back out of COVID stuff eventually, hopefully, well, America's a bit different, then are we going to start seeing 3 rosters again? And
yes. I really would like to, I'll be honest.
So moving up isn't really won't be a thing soon, hopefully, because then what we'll end up with is the territories being the development stuff. So we're going to end up seeing NXT UK. I've said it. I can't remember what I said it on, but I said it before. We're going to end up with NXT UK, NXT. We're probably going to end up with an NXT Mexico, NXT India is all but confirmed. I wouldn't be surprised if we had an NXT Japan and NXT Australia. I could see.
Japan's already been in the works.
Like I wouldn't be surprised if we end up with like an NXT South Africa or somewhere like that as well.
Was it you that said about the territorial champions that then make appearances onto cross-brand shows?
I think that's the way they should go with it. Whether they do or not, it's another story. But that would be the way forward. I think now that NXT sort of should become the third brand again.
Yeah, I'll definitely I'll be happy with that.
Because I don't know about you boys, I love the whole Survivor Series having 3 teams.
Yeah, no,
that was good. That was really good.
The fact that NXT won it always made it better.
And also that put Rhea right at the top,
and
because she was captain.
Keith Lee.
And Keith Lee, yeah, it did. Both the two that shone on that week.
And what I really liked as well
to smash it. Wow.
That was the time when
his own issues, but
that was the time when Kevin Owens was struggling for storylines, and just him going across to help out, put him right back up there again.
That was good. That was good. I love that.
That was for War Games, not for.
Series, but just
it was the one before. That was the one before, wasn't it?
I think it was.
Yeah.
Or was it the one after? Might have been the one after.
One after.
Well, mate, it was the one after because that was the whole thing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'd like to see things like that happen. If people struggling for storylines, jumping over to another brand.
Yeah, really I mean, we're just having the NXT Tuesdays now.
NXT Tuesdays.
Which is how they're advertising it now. NXT Tuesdays.
That's like if I was in charge of advertising.
Well, what we now have on a weekly basis is Monday Night Raw, Tuesday night NXT, Wednesday night currently nothing from WWE.
Thursday, it's if though they're like, hey, AEW, we're going to be friends with you. You can have your own thing.
Thursday is NXT UK. Friday is SmackDown.
It's going to be mad.
Weekends are safe for pay-per-views.
If you're gonna look at AEW, then you've got AEW Elevation on a Monday. You've got AEW Dynamite on a Wednesday, and Dark, I believe, is on a Saturday. I'm not sure.
It was on a Friday or Saturday. That was the two I had, but I can't remember which one.
But it's a YouTube one anyway. That one, isn't it?
That doesn't really make a difference. You can watch that at any time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I don't know. The future's bright in terms of AEW and WWE now.
The future's orange. What?
It's a big change just to 2 nights a week I was used to.
Yeah. There's wrestling everywhere.
On SmackDown.
I'm excited to be a wrestling fan when I'm not involved in the hassle of wrestling groups, shall we say? I like
as much as I've enjoyed the last week. It's not a schedule I'm going to keep.
No.
It is completely whitewashed me. I am absolutely smashed. Like, normally when we do the podcast, I'll make the effort and I'll move and I'll go and sit up, and I won't just be lying here to do it.
It's been very tiring.
I couldn't do it today. I couldn't. I'm so worn out.
It's fair, man. It's fair.
So, yeah, I'm sorry.
We've had a hard week of it. We essentially worked 5 night shifts. It's a bit different if we were doing this and we were Americans, because it's like, hey, it's on a normal sleep schedule, but
yeah. I mean, it's not even that. Like, you know, we say it's 5 nights. It hasn't even just been 5 nights. It's like, you know, granted, it's been longer than that for me anyway, with the extra 2 nights with Hall of Fame and Raw. But B, you know, we've had the last 3 or 4 weeks of planning to make sure that we've got this locked down, to make sure that we knew what we was doing. It's not just been let's just do it. You know, we've actually put quite a lot of effort into what we're doing when we're announcing things. It's there's a lot more work goes into what we've done than what you see.
Yeah,
despite as easy as it looks.
Yeah, it's been grabbing a couple of hours sleep here and there whenever we can.
And a little spoiler as well. It's time's going to get harder again in the next few weeks.
We've got a lot more coming.
We've got some crazy stuff coming, guys. Some crazy stuff. So if you've got to this point in the podcast, then
thank you.
You should be hyped, like properly hyped.
I'm excited.
It's going to be some crazy stuff from us, hopefully.
Yeah, we've got some exciting things coming.
We'll finish off the last 3 matches anyway, because Gargano, Bronson Reed, great match. That was one of my more favourite matches I've seen of Gargano over the last couple of years. It was
good to see Bronson Reed move the way he does, and that really showcased him off a lot.
There's only one problem with Bronson Reed, now that I've said it.
Earthquake.
No. Is the fact that he is we keep saying like a Wish version. Maybe a Wish version is a bit harsh, but like a B-Tech version of Jeff Cobb. And it's like, I'm not wrong, am I, lads? This is the thing. It's like he's good, he's great, but he's no Jeff Cobb. And this is somebody that I was like, he sucks when I first saw his first match.
so for me personally, like, you know, Jeff Cobb's got more to him for a start. But we'll just talk about Bronson Reed, and for me personally, the only comparison really that I can make for him, because his whole gimmick is, you know, he's a bigger lad that can do some high flying stuff. The best comparison I can give you to that is like someone like Keith Lee.
Yeah.
And Keith Lee's a better version. So
yeah,
why?
Bronson's, it's going to be difficult for Bronson, I think, but. It's nice to see them putting him on the title shots.
Yeah,
he deserves it.
I can't see him elevating up more than he is.
Yeah, I'm not. I can't say I'm a fan.
A contender for the North American Championship. I think that's probably about the right position, to be honest. I don't think he's below that, to be honest with you, mate.
Maybe not.
Because it's not as though he's gone and won it. This is his first.
He's
first
bad.
one.
Like, he's not bad, so it's not like he doesn't deserve it. He definitely deserves it. You know. The guy's obviously put in work and effort and all the rest of it, and has earned his spot.
Yeah,
and I don't want to take away from that.
I know it's
for me, it's just not my. You know, it's not my cup of tea. I'm not a fan.
Bring a similar gimmick out if you're going to be better than the last person.
Yeah, if you're going to use the same gimmick, you've got to be better than them. It's not.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to talk about these two as the last two as a pair because frustrated me to some extent. But when you're talking a 40-minute match is the main event, okay, that makes sense because if you put it on second to last, it'd be a bit crazy. But the fact that we ended up with the NXT Championship as the not main event.
This is your big bugbear link as well, isn't it?
I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. But
Title match should always be the main event.
Karrion Kross versus Finn Balor. Mwah.
Yeah.
Superb match. That was brutal.
It was a very good match.
Absolutely.
Very good match.
Finn put Karrion Kross over exactly how he should have done and made Karrion look like an absolute animal.
This was how I used to see Ciampa. And they needed to. Ciampa was. They've started to phase Ciampa out a little bit, and Cross is coming at the perfect time, the perfect replacement for me.
Yeah. See, I'm just trying to think about the Kyle O'Reilly Adam Cole match, and it's like I don't actually remember a lot about it.
I remember Chains.
So yeah, that was actually a big talking point. The fact that Kyle O'Reilly kept on wrapping a chain around
his
leg, and it was like, what are you?
It just
what
fell
are you
straight
doing?
off.
And fell off. Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? But that match was good. And it's probably those final two matches are the way that you probably should finish Takeover. Whether they should have been that way round, I'm not so sure. But I'd probably go back and watch those two matches. That's. Is that not what you want from an NXT Takeover?
Yep.
It was good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the whole show. I think if you put it all together,
it's not. It's
probably gonna. If you're gonna rate something out, like give it a not even a star rating, but if you're gonna give it like an A to D rating or something like that, or A to F if you really want to. I'm not going to say it's going to be down to like C, so I'd say maybe a B. And I don't think I can give it an A.
No, I think something like a B plus, it's like a high B would be probably about fair for the show.
Do you know what? I think it would have got an A. I think the only thing that's hurt it is the fact that it's on at the same week as Mania, which I mean we'll get to it. But
the thing is, there's one thing I do like about NXT. I can't remember a pay-per-view, maybe one, that I actually would give a rating less than that anyway. Every one of their pay-per-views, for me, is pretty much on point. The only one I was disappointed with, I think, was the In Your House. A little bit.
Yeah, that was...
Yeah.
In terms of NXT standard, that was a flop.
And another thing I will say about the Adam Cole match, it was definitely a good match for me, because when you said the length of the match, there's no way I thought that was a 40-minute match.
I mean, we were talking a lot, and we were talking a lot of crap with Boosh.
But there was no way I thought that was a 40-minute match, nearly an hour's match.
No, you're right. You're right.
No, it kept me interested the whole time.
And I don't remember it running out. It only ran over by about 15 minutes as well, I think, from what they scheduled. So it's like, yeah, okay, it's perfectly good. Then we had SmackDown. Not a crazy amount to talk about in the end. It was just a build up to Mania as such. It was basically the WrestleMania pre-show. Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler retained, which was news to me because I'd forgot they were even champions.
So did I. I actually made a comment about Bobby Roode the day before, and Link said, "That's the tag team champion you're talking about."
Yeah.
Yeah, you want about him being injured or something?
No, it's not about him not being used properly and stuff like that. It's he's like underutilized. It's like, right, he's a current champion. Like, what?
I forgot.
So yeah, that it is what it is. That SmackDown division is not very good in terms of tag teams, if you ask me.
The Battle Royal wasn't too bad.
The Battle Royal had actually some decent people in that. I wasn't.
No Jeff Hardy though.
No Jeff Hardy. It was
a week.
Yeah, it's weird to see somebody like Jeff Hardy, who's contracted to WWE, not even making a Mania mention.
Very weird. Unless he returns tonight.
Yeah, well, so we are filming this on Monday, guys, so it will be out. Hopefully, will be out today anyway. So,
Raw after Mania, there's always big surprises.
And
would you count Jeff as a big surprise, or?
I mean,
be nice to see him back, but is it? Yeah, as long as it's not the only thing. If Jeff Hardy's the big surprise of him being, hey, I'm here. It's like, yeah, okay. Jey Uso won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale. Jesus Christ, that was tricky.
Yeah, I was cool with that. That was my prediction. I predicted him to win it, to be fair, as well.
Yeah, I think I went with somebody a bit like bigger, like Mace. It'd been nice to see them just being like, hey, you've left. We're breaking at Retribution, which we've dropped the ball on realistically, and they've gone, but we're going to give Mace an absolute monster push. And instead, they had him eliminated by the leader that they've just left.
I think we're going to get that. I think there's going to be a bit of a storyline behind it first.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not being funny. I don't buy. I don't know. I don't particularly buy Mustafa Ali and being able to eliminate Mace and T-Bar. Like, they could eat him literally for breakfast.
The only reason I picked Uso was to do something with him because he was going to be on the main event scene with Roman. So,
in fairness, he
elevate
eliminated them by outsmarting them as well. He didn't just like outpower them. Or anything.
No. I know. But I am sort of glad that we had that fad where we had Kofi Mania. Could you imagine if it was going to be Ali Mania? It just wouldn't have been like Kofi. At least it was okay. It sort of made sense. It was okay. It's like Kofi's had his time. He's done his due. He's
Kofi's always going to be a
that spot because
fan
he's been there for so long.
The thing I enjoyed about Kofi Mania was him losing to Brock in like 30 seconds. That was the best part.
Yeah. Kofi was always going to be a big fan favourite. I could never see Ali getting that following ever.
No, which was weird that Ali was even in that spot in the first place. So replacing it with Kofi was...
Completely disagree. I hated Kofi as champion.
But the fans got behind him because...
Whether you hate it or not, you can't argue the fact he probably deserved the title run for the years he's done. Mustafa Ali definitely didn't.
I mean, I get the logic. But I don't think anybody can ever deserve a title run. You know, it's you know, if that was the case, that guy that won the Warrior Award on night 2 would be the champion now because he's been there for 50 years. Like, it's just no.
He'd have 5.
Do you know what I mean? Like, no.
I think Kofi completely got it because of being such a big fan favourite, like Daniel Bryan.
I may be wrong. It may have been that Mustafa Ali was going to lose that Mania match, but
if he made it to Mania,
yeah, the rumours were that he was going to win the Chamber, wasn't it?
The Chamber, yeah, but that wouldn't have took him to Mania though,
wouldn't it?
Nah, they'd have found a way to wick him out.
I'm not entirely convinced. I can't remember. Anyway, yeah, it was that. Jay, anyway, we're back on to Andre. We sort of went off topic on that one. Andre the Giant.
We did that a lot.
Yeah, Battle Royale. It was good to see Jay win it. It makes sense for Jay to win it. We ended up with, who was it? With Shin and... Was it Mustafa Ali?
Baron Corbin.
Was it Baron
Shinsuke Corbin and Jay were the final 3, which was funny because they were also the only 3 that got an entrance.
Yeah.
Yes, sort of...
little giveaway.
Yeah. You'd have been peeved if, say, that, for example, you were actually at Mania and that happened. You're like, oh, the only 3 that actually came out with an entrance are in the last 3. Okay. Cheers, WWE.
Yeah, it might as well have just been a triple threat match with a bunch of lumberjacks, really.
Yeah. But we ended up with Jay getting all excited, getting hyped, and then Roman coming out and doing his thing and stealing the thunder.
Looking at him, weren't it?
Yeah.
It was very strange, that.
Like, the fact that he was like... You sort of, I was like, why is he so pissed off? And it's like, because you said he's going to have to fall back in line now.
Yeah.
And it's like,
kind of know your role.
Yeah. Shut your mouth and know your role.
You want a plastic trophy.
Yeah, it did look very plastic.
It was very plastic.
Like, if that was a miniature version, that's the sort of thing you'd get inside of a Kinder egg. Edge, Daniel Bryan promos as well. The other two real big talking points on SmackDown.
Very good. Very good.
Edge done old school Edge.
Yeah.
I thought both Daniel Bryan's and Edge's were great.
Called
Roman's
Roman Reigns the Samoan Edge.
It's not completely wrong, is it? Can't.
There's a lot of good comparisons, to be fair. It was quite funny. It's certainly got your minds thinking, and that was the point, I guess.
Edge does best.
Yeah, completely. Roman did a little bit of talking. And again, that was okay, but the fact that Roman didn't even need to actually do talking at that point, I think it was just more of a case of he just needed to come out, bring Jay back in line, and we could probably end the show there and then,
Yeah.
But
I've got to say, though, I really think after watching Paul Heyman, we all need someone in our life to look at us the way Paul Heyman looks at Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I've never experienced love like that. That's Heyman's love for Reigns is something special, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Stares at him with the biggest grin on his face.
We're gonna fall out of your frame. Sorry.
So, boys, I think that's us done for the main part of the week, and it brings us to WrestleMania.
Welcome to WrestleMania.
And
evacuate the stadium.
That's the first thing we got to talk about is the weather. Oh my god!
Like a cup of tea.
We're gonna have some tea and crumpets. We're gonna sit down and we're gonna talk about the weather.
Talk about the Queen and our bad teeth and the weather, because that's what English people do.
But genuinely, we are gonna sit here and talk about the weather because we were streaming over on our Twitch, and us three plus Mr. Adam Oakley was sat there going, "Oh crap! Are we gonna have a Mania that's gonna actually get?" At that point, like, it was so bad, I didn't think we were gonna get a Mania that night.
We was doing something. I can't remember what we was doing. I think we was actually filming something, or we was playing something, and then the video.
I know exactly what we were doing. We were getting Link banned for getting his server IP address hacked.
And then all of a
on
sudden,
GTA, because we ended up with some hackers.
A video come through to me, and it was on the group, and it was like, guys, you kind of need to see this. The stadium's getting evacuated, and it's open air, and they're saying there's a chance Mania ain't even happening.
Yeah, and I don't know what we'd have done, because the only way I could have thought they could have got around that is that Mania Night 1 would have gone, and we would have ended up with a 7-match card for Night 2.
Imagine all those fans that paid all that money.
It'd have been the only way, wouldn't it? It'd have been the only way they could have made that work. If it was bad at one point, like really bad. If it had carried on for the full, like, they couldn't have delayed it for like 2 hours. They would have.
I think because they did, or Drew alluded to it at least at one point. I think that they were starting to make plans to have the whole thing shot backstage.
I think the only other thing they could have done was maybe stuck Michael Cole and Samoa Joe in ponchos. And
After stood in front of the announce table for the whole time. Yeah.
Oh
wait, they did that.
They did.
Michael Cole actually made a joke about that night too. He's just like, I don't ever want to wear a poncho again.
But yeah, you know it's bad when you've got to move the commentators completely away from the commentary table because there's thunder and lightning.
Yeah,
and then one about the electrics
and the water and everything.
There was JBL and that talking on the pre-show, and then just a massive bolt of lightning. It was like, okay, I can see why there's a bit of an issue here.
Yeah.
I think we ended up with a bit of the stage being removed and all sorts, didn't we?
To be fair, they done well to go with a 45-minute delay.
Well, it wasn't even 45 minutes, was it? It was about half an hour delay because obviously there was 15 minutes of like the intro and the national anthem and everything else that they did at the beginning that still happened.
Yeah. And they called it, you can tell because we heard conversations where mics went off, that it was all called on the fly.
Oh, yeah, they were scrambling to fill that time.
Do you remember seeing Shane? I'm sure, like, we were all like
quite red because he had sprinted.
He was clearly rushing around like an absolute idiot.
Yeah.
They played some because a lot of places were just filled it with something. Well, these lot have actually gone on and done like backstage interviews and run around and just pulled people out of dressing rooms, obviously, just to fill for a bit.
WWE think should give themselves some credit for the
Thinking on the fly for that one.
45-minute delay. It's like for a Mania, that's a lot of time for them.
I mean, it was at the end of the day, there's nothing they could have done about it. That was the biggest thing. There was nothing they could have done. It was whether act of God. You know, it's not like they had a bunch of pyro that just didn't go off or anything.
The thing was,
technically they kind of did at one point.
It was basically on their network, so they could have filled it with anything really. But the way they carried on and just right, let's go with this and just think on the fly and fill it.
Yeah,
they managed to fill it with stuff.
Yeah, because like something obvious they could have done was just stuck on. If it was looking that bad, they could have stuck on the NXT UK thing or something on Peacock or the WWE Network until the weather passed.
Yeah.
Which we didn't really mention, but NXT UK, but there wasn't really a lot that happened. The main thing, Volta retained on there against Rampage Brown. But that also happened on Thursday night, which was kind of weird.
But
it was very expected as well because
why would Rampage Brown beat Volta if Volta beat Ciampa?
Well, it was obviously pre-recorded as well because Volta was obviously in the States.
Yeah.
Which means that he'd obviously already won the match with Rampage Brown because he defended the title the night before on NXT before his pre-recorded match aired.
It was odd.
There's a very strange mix there.
But yeah, WWE did as best they could, but we were worried. We were like, oh god, what are we going to happen? And with our stream, we've stayed up all night for this. We waited 2 years for this Mania, and it ain't happening.
Yeah. At least they got the fans out there to watch it still, and they put on a show still. And it was a good show. We
still ended up with a fair few fans in the arena, which was obviously great. We had plenty of
25,000 fans. They apparently had.
I'm not entirely convinced it was that many, but
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, normally holds 90, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a 90 to 100,000 seat arena, so
you're looking at 25% of that.
Okay, yeah, potentially then. So the whole thing with the Battle Royale being on SmackDown was that they didn't want just as well they had it on SmackDown. Let's be honest. Imagine that many people with that much water for a Battle Royale.
I know what you're going to say.
They had an entrance, and our entrance. So there was no entrance for the fans. The first entrance was going to be something big.
Oh!
Yeah. So we didn't even get it being Drew McIntyre. We got Titus O'Neil.
What is that? Like, why?
They didn't need to have the music. Like, if they would have the thing was, even the second entrance would have been.
I was about to say they
bigger than
Hogan out there first. Would have made sense.
Hogan should have been the first one. I'm sorry, I don't like Hogan.
No, but if you get
it would have absolutely destroyed like Titus O'Neil coming out.
I mean, Titus' hometown, isn't he? So I get.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah, but like we could have also easily started we could have also done the match with Drew Bobby first, and then we had the host come out, which I'm fairly sure is what we've had happen in previous years. Or actually, maybe not, because they were paired on the pre-show as well.
Even bigger than that, right? There was someone that was on the stage before Titus got his entrance.
Vince.
They could have done the intro music for. Vince was on stage, but he had no music. Imagine if it kicks off with Vince's music. Even that.
Yeah. Tell you what, actually, I saw a picture that should have told us everything about what was going to happen. But do you know the very opening of the show showed you all the wrestlers on the stage with Vince,
yeah?
Right. So it was Triple H, Stephanie, Vince, Roman Reigns, Shane McMahon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was the front line.
Yeah.
You've got the McMahon family, but Roman Reigns is there right in the middle. Like before Shane as well, next to Vince.
In all fairness, though, it's also because he is the current big champion, and Bobby Lashley and Drew, because we're fairly sure that thing was pre-recorded, wasn't it?
Well, that's I think so, because they had the flyby, and the flyby obviously wasn't going to be happening in the middle of a storm. So
yeah.
And I'm going to make one other point with that. You can't say just because Shane wasn't front and centre, because Shane got
he was still front and centre. He was just next to Roman Reigns.
On Twitter, Shane got a happy birthday, Shane. And John Cena got, thank you, John, for everything you've done for the company. I love you like a son. Happy birthday, Shane. From his dad.
Seems about right, to be honest.
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for Shane.
I don't.
Like, you kind of do. I mean, the guy's a millionaire, so no, I don't.
No, exactly. That's exactly why. Why I said it. I was thinking I didn't feel sorry for Shane. I mean, I feel a little bit sorry for Shane later on, but that's as nearest as I'm gonna get.
Still a millionaire, so no.
Yeah. But anyway, the first
guy survived a helicopter crash, mate. So
yeah,
Survived another crash, but we'll talk about that a bit later.
Drew being the first entrant in terms of wrestlers was okay. It's clearly what they've been building for a while, if you ask me, with the whole sword thing.
That's what we thought, but we thought we'd work this out quite easily, didn't we?
What, that he'd win?
Well, we thought we had the whole thing planned out with a sword, the big win in front of the fans, the Drew moment.
I'm glad that they changed. I think that was the original plan, was for Drew to get the win. I'm very glad that they changed that and gave it to Bobby.
We all said that Bobby Lashley's done really well, and it was a shame that he was going to lose. But we all said he was going to lose.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's still part of me that dislikes the whole Bobby thing, but I can't argue the fact that he's done bloody well. Alongside
I wasn't a massive fan of the whole Drew thing either. To be fair,
the thing with Drew is that I've always liked him, and I don't know, maybe it's because it's the little British thing that he gets that little edge for me as well, you know. But also the fact that
Little Britain.
But anyway, so Bobby actually beat Drew by submission and made him pass out. That's
even after he broke out of the headlock.
That was a bit tasty, you know. A bit tasty.
Yeah. I'm wondering what's going to happen next with Drew, but
the thing is, I can't see Drew can't be in the picture now.
No, he's got to take a step back. They've got to give someone else a little run because he's had a constant run. Whoever's been champion, he's been front and center for world title matches.
Yeah,
You'd hope so.
I'd be a little bit. I'd be a little bit annoyed. There's a couple of people that have got the chance now, based on the results that we've had this weekend. So let's hope that they don't stick it straight on Drew.
Yep.
Second match of the night: Natalya and Tamina won the tag team turmoil match, which, in the grand scheme of things, we should have realised because they've changed her attire. They've given her. She's showing off a new tattoo, and her talents are out.
A lot of people's were in this match.
Oh God, yeah. This.
Well, the match, it sums it up. One of the very first entrants was Mandy Rose.
Hashtag
and you see her sitting down on the ramp at one point. Yeah. Mandy Rose was sitting on the ramp looking all embarrassed at one point from the rain.
Yeah, it was
a bit of an eventful match.
Yeah.
We had more camera cutaways than anything.
The thing is, what we did that night, what we did on our stream is that we sort of criticised it because it was a bit. I mean, we could go through the tag teams. So Lana, Naomi, Billie Kay, Carmella, Dana, Mandy, the Riot Squad, Natalya, Tamina. Like, meh.
This is where I can see people like Shotzi coming up.
But it was a good match.
Who?
This was a Shotzi. But
I can see Shotzi and Ember Moon coming up.
I don't think we're going to have people coming up again, mate.
I'm sure he said Chauncey. I was like,
Chauncey. No, it's on paper the match is but it was a good match. This was a good match.
It was alright.
And here's the big thing I want to talk about with the women's division is the fact that I think we're genuinely going to have women's tags and women's singles and them being separate things again. Well, not again, for the first time ever. That we're actually going to end up with a women's tag roster.
Like an actual division.
Like an actual clear division. These are the tags. These are the singles. Like, we don't see people like Dolph at the minute or Bobby Roode doing proper. Like, you'll get the Raw, SmackDowns, maybe doing the one-on-ones, but it's usually against another tag team or a half of a tag team, isn't it? I think we can actually end up with maybe a smaller cut down singles sort of division. So on each show, so maybe drop down to about 6 people.
Would you have it still separate on each show?
What do you mean?
Tag teams on one show, not right over across branded, not cross branded stuff. Would you have NXT have theirs, Raw have theirs, and SmackDown have theirs still?
What with the tags?
The women's division, the singles and the
personally,
tags.
I think the women's there should still only be one women's tag title.
I agree.
But that should still have. We could still easily end up with. Do we need 5? If we have one title, do we need 5 women's tag teams on SmackDown? Because they're all on SmackDown, correct?
I don't know, in all honesty.
I'm fairly sure they are. I'm fairly sure the ones that we had are all on SmackDown. So it's like, do we need that many? And that's just the contenders.
That's where people start getting lost.
We can easily end up with 2, maybe 3 on each show.
No, I want to say that Mandy and Dana are on Raw.
They are still on Raw. Fair enough. Well, if that's the case, that's the case. But I think we should. I wanted it to end up so we end up with 2, maybe 3 on each show. Across the 3 shows, 1 women's title, 1 women's tag titles, and then everyone else can go for their individual shows, singles titles.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a start, I guess. At least it's a start. I think we're actually starting to end up with an actual roster, an actual like
to
division.
build it a bit. I think.
Yeah.
The foundations are starting,
and that's the main thing, and that's something I've sort of took away from this, and also basing it around the facts of people that were around the Raw Women's Championship and the SmackDown Women's Championship makes me feel like that's the way we're going to go. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. Cesaro, Seth Rollins.
Beautiful match.
Yep. Both great workers.
Much else to add on that?
Went the right way as well.
I think it could have gone either, to be honest with them too.
It went the right
It was
way.
nice to see Cesaro get his moment.
It's not the way my prediction went. Because we sort of missed out the predictions for this one so far. So the predictions were, if we lost, we had to do a tablespoon of coffee for this night. And for the first way, this is a fair point. The first 2 matches, none of us picked up a point. Even Adam didn't pick up a point. That's why they sort of haven't been mentioned. And then the first person to actually pick up a point this night was Link, because he was the only one of us 4 that went Cesaro.
The thing is, I've got to admit, for Cesaro's WrestleMania moment, I'd always wanted to see him pick up either the US or the IC belt.
Yeah, I mean, it does no harm beating somebody of Seth Rollins' standing.
No, definitely.
Do you know what I mean?
Definitely. Well, but the fact was, we all thought it could get a WrestleMania moment. We still went against him. Just shows you can never tell them because they're both really.
You say we all.
Really wrestlers.
I didn't.
Well, you did.
But on the predictions, mate, you still didn't say that you thought it was definitely going to be Cesaro. You went based on the fact that you want it to be Cesaro.
Yeah, you said you want him to have that WrestleMania moment.
That's what I'm saying. So you're still not completely convinced that they were going to give it to him over Seth. They love Seth.
It was just for his moment that he was like, he deserves that moment, which he did.
But yeah, I was absolutely chuffed that Cesaro got that win at last at Mania. You know, in a singles competition.
He definitely could have gone either way, which was good.
Yeah. Next one, our best mate, the guy that seems to get mentioned the most, despite this being his debut match.
Adam Oakley?
Not Adam Oakley. Adam Omos.
Yeah.
Omos and AJ Styles picked up the Raw Tag Team Championships. The guy that we talk about all the time, that never has wrestled a single match.
Genuinely do speak quite well.
Has finally wrestled a match, and he's won a tag team title in his first match.
How confused was we when he come down to the ring and he's wrestling gear?
What, his wrestling?
Well, we didn't realise it was his wrestling gear. That was the thing.
He was dressed not exactly the same as yours.
He got down to the ring. He took his jacket off. Guess what? You knew it was wrestling gear because he had his arms out.
He didn't have sleeves.
Didn't have sleeves. You know there's business when someone doesn't have sleeves. Isn't that right, Link?
He was like me. He was just ready to go, mate. Ready to go.
You look ready to go, mate.
When he's going
I'm
to
ready
sleep.
to go to fucking sleep. I am screwed. I am sat here. It's like, I really need to stay awake. I really need to stay awake. You're not even going to lie. I've thought about it several times now. It's just asking you guys if we can pause at the end of this so that I can actually have a nap because I am dying. But no, let's power on. Power on.
But I mean, beating the New Day as well, even bigger. We've seen AJ. Wow, we started with Amos was in the ring originally, wasn't he? And then they managed to convince AJ to get in. We had AJ not being able to get to Omos for a while. New Day showing their experience and tag team expertise, cutting the ring off. And then we ended up with, obviously, Omos eventually getting in, and then Omos just wiping them out one-handed,
that
basically.
moment of that tag.
Yeah. I love this. What I wanted to bring up. I had to bring up Xavier Woods' selling and his storytelling. He'd done that perfect. The fear in him because Omos was getting in the ring.
Do you know what? I think every match has had a moment in it. And I think, and I've said it before, and I know Dan's quoted me on it several times, but wrestling's about the moments. Mm-hmm. So we really need to mention the moments within these matches. And every match has had one. And I know we've already covered a couple of matches that I've been, too far asleep to point them out. But this match, I think the moment of this match was the moment Omos first came into the ring, and you'd got Xavier, I think it was, that was on the floor just going,
AJ, no! AJ, no!
Yeah.
Well,
trying to stop him from tag.
Beautiful. The match was, New Day was starting to get back into the match a little bit, and then AJ did the phenomenal forearm off of Omos' shoulders during the match, which was cool.
That was good.
Because at one point I thought, they're not going to turn him already, and that'll actually piss Omos off. No, they carried on. And then we had Omos even being shouted at by AJ to 1 foot! Use 1 foot!
I think the whole turning on him, that was just Adam planting that seed in our head, because Adam called that.
Yeah, Mr. Oakley confusing us. And the irony is that he was stone dead last at that point. Link was 2-1 up with me and Pete, and then Adam was on 0. Adam came on with our predictions and on the show, but we weren't expecting him to get involved in the predictions. But as our night 2 was growing your hair for a year, which he's done for a year anyway, there's no point in him getting involved in that one. But he volunteered himself to do the coffee one, so we're grateful for that one, Ads. We're grateful for that one, mate. That was fair play to you. Fair play to you.
Find out on Wednesday.
Tuesday.
If he lost or not.
Tuesday.
If he lost or not. Tomorrow.
Then we had the match where I missed the 2 biggest bloody moments because I had to go and deal with my daughter.
This match started off really slow as well. Stan was like, I'll quickly go now.
Yeah. Braun Strowman versus Shane.
Literally when the seconds of Dan going, it all kicked off, didn't it?
Yeah, so you had Shane. So had Shane climbed over and was on his way out, and then Braun ripped him back in.
Yeah, so I can't remember what he did to knock him down. I think it was the whole thing with the toolbox, wasn't it?
Well, first of all, you had Elias trying to climb out, didn't they? And Braun kicked the cage.
He kicked them both.
Knocked Elias. Off.
I've seen that, and then I shot.
Yeah, Shane then tried to climb back up. It looked like he was going to dive off the top, and then found a toolbox in the baskets that we've never seen at the top of the cage before.
Then he hit coast to coast.
Yes.
Yes, I've seen the coast to coast actually.
And then he climbed to go out, and he got to the other side, and instead of just climbing down, because once he got to the top, I was like, Strowman's going to pop up and come and suplex him in or something.
And he just started climbing.
And he started climbing down, and I was like, what? So they're just going to end it.
Shane's going to win.
And Shane wanted to brag, so he stuck his arm through the cage to wave at him as he was climbing down.
But he got low enough just to
managed to grab up,
reach up.
Just enough to grab his hand like that, and interlocked fingers on the inside of one of the barracks, so he couldn't get back through at all. And then Strowman sort of grabbed from the corner of the cage and ripped at the cage until the bolts popped off one by one, and ripped the cage off and pulled him into the cage through the side of the cage. Absolutely brilliant. I've not seen that spot done before. It was very, very good.
And we also had the next spot with Shane.
The next
spot, yeah. Well, I mean, they didn't even both go up. It was actually Braun that lifted Shane to the top of the cage, which was just insane in itself. And then climbed up and just lobbed him. Just full on off your trot, mate. Fucking launched 51-year-old Shane McMahon 3/4 of the way across the ring into the fucking ring from the top of the cage. Absolutely mental.
What a
no
hero.
Protection, no table to go through or anything like that. Just straight down onto the fucking canvas. Absolute legend. Absolute legend, mate. You to take a bump like that at that age for no, like, wow.
Yeah.
Bottom.
He's something else, Shane McMahon, isn't he? I don't even know how to sort of describe Shane.
I mean, he is a stunt man, mate. There's no other way around it. Like, he is a spot monkey. You know, it's.
Why do you think again? He's in his 50s.
The big difference between Shane McMahon and like a lot of your other spot monkeys is Shane McMahon isn't in every pay-per-view. He isn't on every show. We don't see him constantly doing the same thing over and over and over and over. He does do the same thing over and over, but he's not always on the shows. He's not. He's a rarity. You know, we don't have him all the time.
Shane,
so he's not overexposed.
Don't get this wrong. He doesn't need to do it. He doesn't need to do this.
Yeah.
But I feel like Shane's one of these people as well that, like, people it's like people are going, well, Shane's on the card, but they know that they're still going to get a spot from Shane. But also the fact I feel like he's one of these old timers, one of these older wrestlers that takes a spot away from somebody else that actually backstage. I don't think they're the people are actually particularly upset about, like, because.
I mean,
Shane seems to be very well loved backstage.
Well, it's not even that. I think the big difference with Shane and like some of the other guys is the other guys wouldn't do what Shane does.
True.
You know, like it's all right saying, oh, they take away a spot, but it's like, you know, you look at someone like Goldberg and they take away a spot from someone like I don't know, let's use for an example like Keith Lee, or, you know, someone that could be just an unstoppable force, or Kevin Owens, just someone that could just absolutely power through the division sort of thing. Bobby Lashley would be your ideal spot for Goldberg. And that makes a logical sense. You know, they're taking away a spot because that's something that someone on the roster that's younger and more in their prime could do. The thing is with Shane, he does spots that people wouldn't do. So it's like, yeah, he's taking away a spot, but who's he taking away a spot from? Because no one else is going to do it.
Yeah.
You know, Kevin Owens probably would do it, in fairness. Kevin Owens is probably the person that would do that slot.
I love Kevin Owens.
But Kevin Owens was already into something else, so...
They have that respect for Shane because Shane can do that kind of thing, and he's not a wrestler. And like we said, he doesn't need to. He can sit there and earn the reward.
Shane's a millionaire. Shane's a multi-millionaire. He can sit at home and do absolutely nothing for the rest of his life.
It's his dad's company. He doesn't need to do a thing.
Here is the other thing with Shane. Shane has came in. He's booked alongside Braun Strowman, and I think we've got the next contender for the title. We mentioned Randy Orton, but I forgot about Braun.
He's made Strowman.
I think Braun will be the next contender for the title against Bobby. I think the whole point with... I think the whole incense thing about him not being in the chamber, I think it's all. I think it's all... Because there was this actual, like, rumoured actual falling out with WWE, wasn't there, with Braun? And I think it's all bollocks. I think there's no actual storyline. I think it's all story to it.
Yeah.
Shane on Raw?
They are on Raw, mate.
Honestly can't remember.
I think they are. I've had a quick check, and I'm fairly sure they're on Raw. I will double... Okay. I can double check. I can just click Braun's name, couldn't I?
So these are all like. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. There'll be things that I'm just so obvious that I'm gonna struggle with tonight, and it's just because I'm tired. I'm sorry.
So yeah, I've just checked. So Braun is on Raw. Okay. So he's for me the obvious one if they want to keep Orton Fiend rivalry going, so that would be the obvious one, and I think that probably is the way we're going to get it. Because even if we did miraculous, I can't see it at the minute. If we did miraculously end up with a Brock Lesnar Bobby Lashley thing, it's like, well, Braun being around it too, it sort of makes sense because.
Well, like I said, the reason this Braun Shane thing happened because he weren't taking him seriously and giving him shots.
Get Brock tonight.
If we ended up with Brock tonight and not Mania, that'd be nuts. Although that wouldn't be a bad thing because it's like, hey, they didn't take
the first time,
but they haven't taken away a Mania spot as well from somebody for Brock Lesnar, and it's like that actually should appease a lot of fans, but I actually wouldn't because people won't think about that. Just goes Brock Lesnar now. It's like
also I've got to admit, the last couple of years, Link, haven't they criticised the Raw after Mania a little bit?
I think this year they'll have a reason to criticise it. I don't think it's going to be that great tonight. Because one of the reasons that they criticise it is because the crowd have tried to make it more about themselves. Well, it's back in the Thunderdome, so there are no crowd.
No, but if they did do a big return, that would elevate it again. So maybe they have some sort of surprise.
They've done big moments for almost every year for the Wrestlemania. It's just that fans become very negative about wrestling. It's just a thing. It really is. And like, we've done it. We've been guilty of it. I'm not going to pretend like we're something special that's never ever made a mistake.
We are,
because we've definitely been negative about it at times.
Not me, mate.
I think a prime example of us and our negativity is, if for those that watched our Twitch stream, is the Bad Bunny match, which was probably the next match you're talking about, wasn't it?
It is, mate.
Yeah. So I think it's probably a good segue into it. The prime example for us being negative about a match was that match, because
stole my job.
We were all very, very critical of it while watching it the first time, and I think all of us have gone back and seen clips from it,
definitely. I watched the YouTube
else.
Clips and that, yeah,
and I've gone, do you know what? He was actually really good, and I changed my mind towards the end of the match myself anyway, and was saying it to you guys. And yeah, I think they did a really good job with what they had. I mean, full credit to John Morrison.
I was about to say,
and I think anybody that thinks that Bad Bunny is just the best wrestler ever.
Yeah, I think people have not looked at it, and they're giving the plaudits to the wrong person. Like, I don't think that Bad Bunny shouldn't get any of the plaudits, because he's still a celebrity. He's still gone, okay, John, clearly he's happy to do it. He trusts John Morrison to be like, flip me, bitch.
It still takes some selling, and it still takes some skill to be able to do that.
He sold well. He landed well in positions, but like it's things like the Canadian Destroyer, for example. And in fact, no, the first one that gave it away to me was the Falcon Arrow, yeah, because it's Damien Priest and Bad Bunny both hit simultaneous Falcon Arrows on The Miz and Morrison. And I said to the lads, I was like, did you notice that John Morrison was with Bad Bunny and not The Miz?
Yeah, of course.
And the reason for that is that John Morrison was able to jump that high, turn himself in the air, and land perfectly without any assistance.
Whereas
Damien, he does all this parkour, flippy jumps, and all the rest of it. So, like, if they did that match normally, there's no way could he have done that move to someone like The Miz. Not a chance. Which is why he got changed to a tag match in the first place as well.
Yeah. I've said since Morrison come back, I was a bit gutted because it wasn't Morrison that I expected. I wanted to see. That match changed it for me again, and every little bit. Because, like we said, even to the point of the only time you see Bad Bunny and The Miz were strikes, punches, kicks. The skill you see was John Morrison, and I've actually got a lot of respect for John Morrison again just for that one match.
Yeah, because people can't seriously sit there and go that it was all Bad Bunny, because obviously he's still taking the bumps, and that's part of being the wrestler. But he's not an athlete.
But there's wrestlers.
Bad Bunny has the same stature as me and Pete. We're not wrestlers.
Full credit to Bad Bunny. You know,
he done well.
He's
really
a fan.
Well.
He's clearly a fan. He's got a bit of respect for the business. He didn't just come in and be like, "I'm going to beat your ass," blah blah blah. You know, in fact, he might have done. I don't speak Spanish.
Even to
no comprende.
It's
even to take jump from the top rope out to the ring apron. He's still doing brilliant.
Oh yeah, it's still scary stuff. You know, you stand on top of that top rope.
But Hurricane Runners and Canadian Destroyers, there's people in the business for a long time that still can't do that. There's no way it was going to be.
You think about this on its own, yeah. That top rope is 8 feet from the ground.
Yeah,
that's scary. You stand on a ladder that's 8 feet tall
and just jump
at the top of it and jump off. That's scary. Like, regardless of what you landed on. Like he was landing on people, which are going to catch him and make it a softer landing, but it's still scary.
Well,
like
I'm not being funny. Bones are still hard.
Yeah, I mean, you could jump out. You could jump off a diving board that's only 8 feet high above the water, and you'll still be scared because it's a long way. Like it's people have a pretty natural fear of heights.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's not been in. He's not been in there a long time. You think it was only the Rumble that he come into it?
But yeah, in terms, I will give him that much credit that in terms of a combined performance between Bad Bunny and Morrison, I think it was performance of definitely of that night.
You still
even
need,
though there was a very good one in the next one.
You still
Cesaro
need
was in a match that night, so I disagree.
For any match, you still need both sides, both people to perform well to make it look good, and that looked good.
Right, last one of the night one, Bianca Sasha. The main thing is, we weren't sat here pulling our hair out.
I didn't criticise her once, I don't think.
And the crazy thing is, we could have been sat here with Sasha Banks still as our champion, and we wouldn't have been upset.
To be fair, the only thing I criticised this whole match was WWE themselves for when you get the big entrance and you get to see the EST of NXT, and it's like you're on the main roster, you've won the Rumble, your main event in Mania, and the EST of NXT.
Yeah, there's
It's a strange thing to have on the Titantron.
They said she was quite shocked when she turned around and noticed it herself.
No.
Apparently, she didn't know it wasn't supposed to be that, and she was quite shocked.
But no, this match was.
The match itself was fantastic.
Yeah.
Like I can't say anything bad about it really. I am going to go to my moment almost instantly because I don't want to sit and analyze the rest of the match.
Yeah.
But that in the hair whip,
brutal.
There's just the noise of it and the fact that it wasn't like Charlotte Flair when she got the hair whip. Okay, she got a cut about that long.
Mm-hmm.
Sasha Banks's whip was about that long. So it obviously covered more of a distance, but I think that's because it kind of went all the way around her and whipped as it pulled off her as well.
The second it hit, you could hear us. I watched you guys on the screen.
Oh yeah, she squealed.
And all of our faces were wincing before we even saw the mark.
Yeah. Because we knew, it was obvious. It was obvious how bad that was going to hurt.
Yeah.
I'm not a Sasha fan. I'm not a Sasha fan at all. I'm sure it's no secret. I'm sure most of you know I pretty much despise Sasha Banks.
But she put on a really good. She put on a really good match.
Incredible, absolutely incredible. I can't fault her. Don't think she missed a step.
I'm
sure there probably was a botch or two in there, but they were minor enough that it didn't take away from the match, and the match was so good.
They're not botches at that point. They're just just wasn't clean. That's all in places.
Yeah.
The whole build-up was really bugging me that it was Sasha and not Bayley in that match. I thought it'd be amazing. I'm quite glad the way it was.
Yeah.
I'm quite glad it happened the way it did.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell how much I dislike Sasha because before the match even started, I was having a go about the fact that she'd stole Shotzi Blackheart's gimmick because she looked like a combination of Shotzi Blackheart and Naomi.
Yeah, Sasha does
her hair with the multicolor and the green and all the rest of it. It was just like, huh?
In all fairness to Sasha, it's not the first. It's not the first time that she's just sort of gone out there at a pay per view, though, is it? It's sort of.
It's not the first time she's taken someone else's gimmick either, but we'll talk about that another time.
That's how much the hatred's there. You even sat there and said it kind of. She even botched the Hall of Fame, and you never forgot that.
Holly Molly.
She did.
Holly Molly. That's pretty stupid. But no,
we was expecting a really bad match, I'll be honest. I was.
If you can compare the fact of we had Sasha versus Asuka for realistically quite a while.
They were all awful.
They can't wrestle each other. I hope we never ever see Sasha versus Asuka again because they
got zero chemistry.
It's that whole thing. I guess you can just wrestle with some people.
I actually watched our old YouTube.
Clearly, people you can.
Back. I watched our YouTube clip back when we thought someone was dying outside the ring by breaking their neck in a Asuka and Sasha match.
Was I cheering?
No, when I think it was Asuka that went flying out, and you kind of see her land on her head. Where, yeah,
That was the power bomb.
Oh yes,
The sunset
yeah.
flip power
that was
bomb.
it. That was it.
Nah, not a fan of that.
For the difference in a few months.
But Bianca being champion, I'm really behind.
I'm
this.
all for it.
And let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes.
We've bigged her up a long time.
She could be the next big women's star.
However, we're definitely going to see Sasha win next year at Mania.
And congratulations to both of them, because this was a landmark occasion, with it being the first time that two black females have main evented a pay-per-view. Full stop.
Not just a Mania.
Not just wrestling.
Not just a Mania, and just at all. And obviously, it was a Mania. So, 100%. Well done to them.
Any pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's progress at the end of the day, and I'm all for it. I am.
Yeah.
I wasn't disappointed that was main event.
So
it was in the right spot on the card. Absolutely.
It was looking at it now, yeah. It was a bit weird that we didn't have Bobby versus Drew, but yeah, definitely the right way.
It made sense.
The way around. And I think that goes for the whole show actually. We'll carry on in a minute, but the
slow build.
The every single match was in the right spot. I didn't disagree with where they put any of the matches actually in the end. They did a really good job.
Yeah.
Coming into that match, me and Link were level with 3 points each as well. So it was going to be about a case of who was doing the coffee between me or Link, Sasha Banks or Bianca Belair. I had Sasha, Link had Bianca, and it meant that me, Pete, and Adam all sat with 3 points. Link just missed out with 4.
On the final match. Let's just remember that. The final match made all the difference.
Yeah.
And I remember a lot of time Link was ha ha ha, ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Every time he spoke to you, it was ha ha ha.
So yeah,
remember that
the coffee. The first part of the punishments video will be the coffee. That'll be out tomorrow. Me and Pete and Adam did lose that one.
Good memories.
So yeah, that was not nice. I hate coffee.
I don't mind coffee, and it was not nice.
I'd have rolled on that.
Adam, just watch Adam.
Adam's gagging is something else. Although Adam thought we had to keep it in his mouth.
Adam done a lot less.
We all said a few times in the lead up to it, and I've listened to it back on the recording that we said eat. And he's like, I've got to hold it in my mouth like a good little bitch that I am. What? So we started night 2 with the best entrance of probably the week. Fiend appeared and regenerated, I guess.
It's a good way of describing it. Yeah,
it was like it was like a cinematic bit. He came down, regenerated, like it was like an electric thing, and regenerated, and then
I still like the way they brought Bliss out first with her music.
Well, Bliss came out after Orton, didn't
Second.
she? She came out after Orton. Orton came out in bright white trunks.
Yeah. Then we got the cinematic bit.
Yeah, sorry. Then we had the cinematic.
Then Bliss came out.
Then Bliss, and then
this giant box.
It was like it was like Orton Bliss, Orton Bliss, Orton Bliss. Big Jack in the Box. Like, where's that come from? I loved the element of obviously her turning that Fiend coming out, and obviously it played a big part later on in the match, and that was really good.
I think I like the thing about the Fiend is you don't know. It's so unpredictable.
Yeah,
you can't tell what's going to happen. You don't know who's going to do what. It's amazing.
Look, I don't think there's any way to really go into this match without going to the end of this match.
Yeah, it was only a 5-minute match.
None of us know.
Nothing else really happened.
None of us know what happened.
So, apart from the only bit, I was like, here we go, and it was the build up to the end. Was Bray got Orton in a Sister Abigail, and then he went to kiss him on the forehead, and then the next bit just changed everything.
So Bliss was like bleeding black, but also like her face was falling apart, and I don't understand. I'm so confused.
Sitting on the top of the Jack in the Box.
Sitting where Bray had come out, and it was like, and then Bray sort of looked at her and was all confused, and it was like, he either fell because he was, I don't know if he was losing his power, but He sort of fell because maybe that, or he was maybe falling because he was concerned for Alexa, and
Was she laughing at the time? I couldn't remember if she was laughing,
she
just covered in.
She was just
It
sort of
was
staring.
I think, and it's completely theory because there is no concrete sort of evidence anyway, whatsoever. I think that's Sister Abigail as such, and she's taken his power, which is why he didn't kick out.
Mm-hmm.
Sister Abigail always was the main part of the Fiend in the old storyline that Bray had come out of years ago.
See,
Sister Abigail was like the main thing that gave that brought the Fiend on.
See, this is the thing. I don't feel like he's lost. He was losing his powers. It's just that in the same way that when it was Bray Wyatt about Sister Abigail, like when he was the Eater of Worlds, Sister Abigail is his kryptonite. Anytime Sister Abigail gets sort of mentioned, shown, or like obviously if we're saying that Bliss was shown, that's like his real touchy point. Even as the Fiend, he can't control his emotions for about Sister Abigail. Because obviously she's dead.
And the really cool thing is the whole black goo, and it was always a Fiend that was causing things to happen to people like Randy Orton. Now it's completely switched, and that's been happening to Randy Orton with the black goo, and it's just literally Bliss that's causing all this to happen every time.
Yeah, so I think that is where the way they're probably going to go with it, having thought about it, that the only thing that can stop the Fiend is going to be Sister Abigail. Not stopping him as such, but sort of just causing him issues to sort of be in touch with his human side of Bray.
And I'm going to say fair play to WWE for one thing.
What's that?
Whenever they get a good storyline, WWE put their swerve on it.
Mm-hmm.
They've let Bray have this storyline heavily involved in the writing. And you can see they've just let him run away and go, do what you want to do.
Yep.
And they've let him do it, and it's not spoiled, and it's perfect.
Oh, it's golden, isn't it? It's golden.
Yeah. It's best storyline they've had in years.
Yeah, easily. The thing is, it's like, this was the real thing that I've gone, are we going to see The Fiend and Bliss appear on Monday Night Raw? Are we not? So
you made a point to me earlier.
That's the only reason why I'd actually stay up and watch it.
You said to me earlier on, I was messaging you, and you said to me, yeah, it'll be cool. It's The Fiend, and it's WWE. They're probably going to make us wait, because we all want to know what's going to happen. So what do WWE do best? We won't mention it for a couple of weeks.
So, I know we've moved on to night 2 already,
but
I've seen an interesting thing, which is literally a list of who produced each of the matches.
I've seen that
for night 1,
and I was really shocked. And the first name on night 1.
First name Jason Jordan and Jamie Noble for the WWE title match.
Jason Jordan.
Cool.
I wasn't surprised by that, and he's been a producer for quite a while now.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I knew he was a producer. Yeah.
So the one that surprised me was the person that was the producer for New Day and AJ Styles and Omos, which was Chris Park.
Yes.
Chris.
Abyss.
Abyss.
But he was in.
I knew he was there. That was a hell of a match for him to have produced. Not only that, not that one as well. The other one that surprised me of who was the producer, because these are matches that are really good that you just don't think about that person being anything to do with it. But probably one of the better nights or the better produced matches of the night, which was Shane versus Braun.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. I see this.
Michael Hayes. You just wouldn't have given him credit for that, but that's who did that match. It's
Chris Park,
Tyson Kidd, and Pat Buck. Is it? I don't know because the paper's screwed up, but I think it's Pat Buck. For the tag team turmoil match, and Tyson Kidd also did the main event, which was obviously Bianca versus Sasha. And then the interesting one is Damien Priest and Bad Bunny versus The Miz and Morrison. The producer, Adam Pearce.
Oh, okay.
Scrap Daddy P himself.
So they've really sort of divided everything up this time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's good. It shows.
The thing with Chris Park, in TNA, he was heavily involved in that kind of thing. And you can really tell because he puts the newcomers over and really tells a really good story.
I mean, it makes sense for him to have done that match, in fairness, when you look at it, because he's obviously got a connection with Xavier Woods, AJ Styles.
Yeah.
And I dare say that Omos will be learning quite a lot from him because he's in that monster role, which obviously Abyss and Chris Parks knows a lot about. So it's a good choice for that one. One
of the good things we said about that match was the actual storytelling. And that's what Chris Park was always really, really good with Abyss.
Yeah, he was, to be fair.
The whole storytelling it showed.
Although Abyss, I watched a video on this as well. Abyss is now known as one of the stupidest wrestlers of all time.
Wow.
I thought he was great.
Genuinely, no, but just stupid. Absolutely ridiculously stupid. And that this is the wrestler, not the man.
Mm-hmm.
So his first world title, he won by accident. He lost it via DQ because he attacked someone like an idiot. He then became Hulk Hogan's little child thing.
When he took Hogan's Hall of Fame ring.
Yeah, and became a wimp. It's just, if you look at the whole history of Abyss's character, it's awful. Like, he's just the biggest idiot ever.
But the one thing he always had was great storytelling.
Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was an idiot.
Yeah. It was a dummied down version of Kane.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Could say it was a wish version of Kane.
Yeah.
We love that saying. No, but yeah. Going back to where we were with the Autumn Theme match, I don't know where we're going with it. So I'll be interested to see what's happening now.
No one does. Mm-hmm. And that's what I like about it. The only thing I ever used to get critical of wrestling sometimes when it was too predictable. All you got to do is look at this storyline and it's never predictable.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more, to be fair, mate. Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler beating Natalya and Tamina for the titles.
I really thought this would have been the start of the breakup, but I think we're going to get teased with that for ages. Sure. We've begged for that. Every women's team, it's going to break up. We did with Sasha, Bayley. I think it's going to happen for this for a long time as well. Mm-hmm. Before they break.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't an appalling match. It wasn't an outstanding match. It was good. It was solid. You know.
I think the only reason I'm happy is because I think if they lost this, Vince isn't the biggest Shayna fan. Would we see her on TV? At least we're still seeing her at the minute.
Yeah, well, that's it. And I'd rather see her in a tag team picture than not at all. Yeah, even though she was dressed as a panda. Yeah, it was interesting.
I'm sure that was an ode to Ronda Rousey with that.
But she wears the panda makeup all the time now.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
No.
Yeah, that match was what it was.
But good length, to be fair.
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all.
Do you know they gave that the second longest? They gave that the second longest length of that night.
The funny thing about that match for me was the segment with
Move on. Carry on. You carry on.
The funny segment. The funny bit for that match for me was the segment with Tamina and Nia headbutting each other.
You don't headbutt
because
you don't headbutt Samoans.
It's always been a wrestling thing, but they're both Samoan, so it's just like,
do they headbutt?
The point?
What's the rule there?
They can't die.
What's the technicality there?
The immovable object hits the immovable object. It's like they just sort of. It's like clapping, you know. It's not painful. That's what happens. I wonder if they're allowed to fly slap. Anyway,
no slap in the leg.
No slap in the leg. Yes. I don't even need to say anything about that one.
Yeah.
Third match of night 2: Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn with Logan Paul. Feet Logan Paul. It sort of went the way we were expecting.
I was a bit concerned about Logan Paul in this match. I think someone had a voodoo doll with him.
Yeah.
Because I think someone at one point twisted it up, because you see him just like that in the chair.
Yeah. He reacted when Sammy got hit with moves, which was just like, what? No one touched you, mate. It's weird.
Great spots though. We knew it was coming.
But yeah, we had the It was a standard match. It obviously wasn't going to be Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn's best ever match. It filled a spot. It kept Kevin Owens on the card. It kept Sami Zayn on the card, and
I don't think the match itself was bad.
No,
at all.
This was about to say, these two don't have bad matches.
If Logan's one and done, it's a bit weird. Okay, but it's not as though he took over that match, you know. So I don't know. Let's see. In terms of one and done, he may well be.
I think it was a one and done.
Are we thinking Bad Bunny's done now? Because the night on this card as well, we had Bad Bunny appear again with Triple H in like a cinematic filmed type thing where they were out on the road, and Triple H gave him his briefcase and he says, "You've done well. Now it's time to go and do what you do best." And he gave him a briefcase.
Go and buy Bad Bunny tour tickets.
Yeah, it was just an advert for Bad Bunny's tour that's coming up.
But the sort of he left on the truck, so it's like
that's his truck. Maybe that's a truck that he will actually go and take to his tour.
That'd be quite cool. But also
it's the new Lex Express.
If
But like no, but what I'm saying is that might actually be his truck.
Yeah.
That he takes on his tour, that he was going to take on his tour all along.
Yeah.
He's just also brought it to this. We can see why not.
We did mention the fact that Bad Bunny probably had the biggest entrance out of everybody, which was.
But we also mentioned the fact that he could have paid for it himself.
Yeah.
You know, it could have been part of his own. Which, if it was his own truck, it makes sense.
Yeah. But I mean, if Bad Bunny is done now, it also makes sense because it drove off in the truck, didn't it? Isn't that?
I'm going to jump back 1 second.
Yeah.
You said Bad Bunny had the best entrance of the night.
No, he had the biggest.
Didn't you see?
I might have said best.
Morrison.
But okay, it was them performing
They
live.
had bunny rabbits.
But
They had bunny rabbits. Some with one ear.
I'm not being funny, but if we're going to talk about best entrances about the whole of Mania, Matt Riddle had pigeons come out his feet, mate. Like, come on.
No. He had cinematic pirate pigeons. Which is great work because that was the next match.
Famous links.
Sheamus won a title, boys. Sheamus is back on the title.
I am so glad Sheamus won that match because that match was brilliant for a start.
Which we all expected. We're just not particularly big fans of Riddle's character.
And you want to talk about moments? That bro kick was unreal, and I am trying my very hardest not to swear. That bro kick was unreal.
You actually missed a very good spot before that as well. On that match, there was
the only criticism.
There was a running knee. Oh,
the only criticism. With that spot, Matt Riddle flipped over the rope, and you see him kind of stand there for a second, and then Sheamus hit it. If he had landed a second later, as he landed, as his feet touched the floor, Sheamus would have been there with the knee the second he landed. But there was a slight pause, which was a bit timing.
But that might have just been why they were trying to get their eye in for the timing for the spot at the end.
Yeah.
To be fair, which was unreal.
I
can't think of a better way to describe it. It was so good.
There was one, I think the biggest botch of Mania.
What, during that match?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know what? It's proper forgivable.
But they
carried on and
they
managed
styled
to
it
pull through
out.
it as well.
Sheamus could have looked a little less upset about it if he tried a little bit harder. He could have seemed a little bit less pissed off about it and just carried on. But
you could see he was angry.
Pissed off about it, you know.
Yeah, but like
it's his big moment. It's his big moment. Like legitimately his big moment. You know.
But you don't. You've just got to roll with the punch. pardon the pun, but you have got to roll with the punches.
They were both very
things
stiff
happen.
in that match as well.
They did.
But I think that was deliberate because they can both take it.
Yeah.
But yeah, great match. Now,
Yeah. I just really hope they drop the whole crappy stoner gimmick because I just don't want to see it anymore.
It's like, yeah, okay, he does weed.
Like, look.
I don't understand why I don't understand why they've amplified the NXT gimmick.
Well, this is it.
To sheer idiocy.
This is it. For me, it's like, right, WWE is now aimed at kids. So there's going to be a lot of gimmicks that I don't get and don't appreciate, you know, which is fine. Completely get that. Matt Riddle's gimmick is that of a stoner. You're not aiming that at kids.
No.
Not a chance. So what you're aiming that at is my age group, and that is crap.
And for the simple reason is Rob Van Dam come out to him and went, there's some RVD rolling papers.
Yeah, and look, if you are aiming that at kids, then what you're essentially doing is telling kids that drugs are cool and fun. Maybe you need to reassess what you're doing. Just a thought.
They didn't need to put that spot in there.
See,
not impressed by that gimmick at all.
I don't know what was wrong with Riddle's gimmick in NXT.
No, he was fine as just like a laid back, almost surfer like dude.
Yeah, and now he's a dumb, completely out of its sonar. And it's like, you know that how much fish could Bobby Fish fry if Bobby Fish could fry fish. I love that.
That was quite funny.
That was that's like with Pete Dunne. That is the level you should be at, especially with somebody like Pete Dunne who's so.
I've now been
pissed
thinking
off about everything. It worked beautifully.
But the big difference there as well is that was like every now and again.
Yeah. Well, that was their run for the Dusty.
It was, yeah. But it wasn't every week, is my point. Whereas now it's every week.
But the thing that gets
week
me
in,
is
week out. We've got something else.
This is put in your face constantly. What he's trying to put. What he basically said. What he's saying you is it's being shoved in your face with the rolling papers and this. And MSK, they've implied it, but then that's where the limit goes. We all know what the gimmick is, but it's not in your face, and they're not going, "Hey, I smoke and I get stoned." Well, this is, and it's really a fine line.
It's just not necessary.
Oh God, I've just remembered the worst part of the whole of Mania. Though we said about RVD, we didn't mention Great Khali. Oh my God! He forgot his line, and then looked at it. He wouldn't stop looking at the fucking camera.
Doing this.
Hey guys, I'm at WrestleMania.
Hey guys,
I'm at WrestleMania. But yeah. So then we had after that in terms for us the big match of the night.
We was all doing quite well we was actually doing really bad on predictions.
So leading up to this, I'll just work it out quickly. So
Sorry.
It shouldn't take you hard to work.
Up to this point, Link was 2-1 up. Link had just gone 2-1 up thanks to Sheamus, and was ahead of everybody. He's
Good night.
And so the next one was Apollo Big Cruz Big E, which is funny because Link actually had called it that it was going to come down to that one, which fair play, Link.
This was a horrible punishment that Link actually chose.
Yeah. You quit. Yeah, bye then, mate. No problem. See you later. And
for 2 days we've heard I'm gonna hate Big E. I'm gonna hate Big E. I'm gonna hate Big E.
I don't blame Big E.
It wasn't on Downs Big E. The irony is of who it is that cost Link a point and put Link back in bad position is the fact that it was, what's his name? It's Dabba-Kato now, isn't it?
Dabba-Kato. Which the funny thing for me here is, and I nearly mentioned this earlier on, because you were saying how we always spoke about Omos. Constantly spoke about Omos. The other person that we constantly spoke about was Dabba-Kato.
At the start, yeah. Babatunde. Before he was Dabba-Kato.
I mean, I don't know what he is now. Like,
we'll find out, I guess.
Yeah, I guess we'll probably find out on SmackDown.
I think it's maybe got the second biggest pop from Dan for the whole of Mania. apart from the very ending.
I couldn't believe it was. I was like, of all people though, seriously, that's come out to help Apollo Crews win the top.
The excitement in your face was amazing.
It's just how you can't write that shit literally. The fact that it's the person that I've been going on about the entire time, and I needed the point. Obviously, Pete, you needed the point as well.
There was only one expression better than yours, Dan, and that was Link's confusion. Because Link didn't have a clue.
There was 2 matches that cost me the win here. Okay, in theory, there's 2 matches that cost me the win in this whole pay-per-view, and both of them were interference.
Who was the other one?
Roman. Jey Uso.
Yeah, to some extent.
The match before that kind of had a big impact.
Yeah, but
yeah,
I'd have survived that though because I'd have won the other 2.
No, that cost you. That made the decision final for you.
That made the decision final, but it wouldn't have cost me if I'd have already been in a better position because Big E would have retained.
Yeah, if Big E had retained, then obviously you were laughing.
You were done.
But yeah, so that put Link back level with me, Pete, and me and Pete, and put us all on 2 apiece with 2 to go.
And then this is where I was confident because I knew my predictions were going to be were quite good for the next day.
So you had Rhea and Edge, and I had Asuka and Roman, and Link had Asuka and Edge. So it sort of put Link in a position where he wasn't going to beat us.
He couldn't. He could only draw.
Best case scenario. He could have beat us.
Hey Google.
He could have beat us.
Assassinate an African warlord.
Oh,
sorry.
He could
have won. So if Asuka and Edge had won the last 2, he would have beat me because I had Roman, but I also had Asuka with him. So we then come down to Asuka Rhea, second to last match. This was what?
This was the big one for me and Link.
Yeah, this was.
Link's decided this one.
This cost me and Link actually. So
yeah, the actual one for this one, it was either you 2 were doing it or I was doing it. One of the other was definitely going to happen from this match.
Yeah, and as you had Rhea, me and Link had Asuka, and Rhea took the win, boys. Apart from the hair thing that we're gonna have to grow our hair for a year. How chuffed are we that Rhea Ripley's the Raw Women's Champion?
I'm buzzing because I'm one of the biggest Rhea fans. Since she's come into WWE.
Not even a little bit.
Why? Because of the hair.
Because of that thing, I can't take that away from it. I'm sorry.
You're a little bitch.
This kind of cemented Link doing it and you doing it.
Yeah,
all it could change was whether I was doing it next.
Yeah, so the last match was then playing on whether Pete would get it, well, or whether I'd get it right, which would then cost Pete.
I was buzzing with that.
I like Rhea. I'm happy for Rhea. I like Rhea.
It wasn't the greatest ending for me.
Link doesn't want to wants to shave his hair this year.
I don't. I do really want a haircut. Yeah.
There was swear words coming from underneath the cover.
Yeah, he sort of after this match, he sort of dived under a pillow, and his dog was very concerned on the Twitch stream. Bless him, he was proper worried. Poor little boy. Not little, but massive thing. But yeah, I can't lie.
I know when I picked Asuka, it was out there and it was a risk. I picked Asuka simply because there were so many people had won the belt.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It sort of needed some more prestige to it by somebody holding it a bit longer again.
And the whole thing with Charlotte, there was a chance of Charlotte coming into it. She would have, if Charlotte did interfere, the perfect storyline was Charlotte and Rhea to have a rivalry.
Yeah, I can't. No matter how many times I think about the Rhea Asuka stuff, it could have easily gone both ways.
Yeah.
Perfectly well, because especially the fact that Charlotte was obviously supposed to be in that main event originally, or main event, sorry, the title match.
But
and it's like, could they do that match then? Because it gives Asuka her moment because she never actually had it. She obviously lost to Charlotte, and that she keeps the title at Mania, and then she loses it later on, and then we end up with Rhea Charlotte. Because I'm fairly sure Charlotte was going to win at Mania, you know.
The only thing that kept it quite confident for me was The Raw Women's division has become really, really stale for me.
I don't think Charlotte would have won.
You don't
I think
reckon?
Charlotte would have lost to Asuka. Asuka would have retained, come out the next night, and Rhea would have challenged her the next night and won it.
I
think
think
that
the
was
whole
probably the
division's
original
got
plan.
Yeah, I think the division's got
But
really
they just
stale.
moved it a night further forward because of Charlotte being out.
And I think just from people, they could see how excited people are about Rhea, just from announcing that she's going to be on Raw, and the place going nuts that she was. Like fans going nuts.
Yeah.
Just talking about, not even being there, but talking about Rhea being there. This is going to elevate it's going to definitely freshen up the Raw Women's division now.
Yeah.
Massive.
This is my brutality.
Yeah, I can't say I was particularly impressed with the
The live performance was awful. I'm sorry. If anyone's a fan of Ash Costello, is it?
Yeah, I think so.
They really should have kept.
Yeah,
They really should have kept that music as it was.
It's not. That's the thing. It's not really a live performance type thing for like a Mania moment.
Well, I mean, I think they had audio issues as well, because at the start I was like, yeah, you're not miming it, despite the fact she didn't pull a mic up until after they'd already started singing, which was just like,
you missed her.
wow.
I think she just
clearly not you.
I think she missed her cue altogether. So yeah.
It's definitely not.
And then at the start as well, like they obviously tried to connect a mic up, but the microphone wasn't turned on, so it was only picking her up through the cameras.
Fair play. She was still loud though.
Yeah. And then eventually the mics kicked in, but they obviously hadn't done enough prep on it. It didn't sound great.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it is what it is. I don't think it was anything they could have done really about it.
No, it moves and it'll be something that gets forgot about in a few years' time. You know, or even less than a 6 months' time.
I mean, it's not like the Motorhead performance with Lemmy coming out and singing game, because he couldn't remember the words to the Triple H's entrance music.
I actually watched that back, and it was class. But
it's all about the game.
Good game. Turning to Bruce Forsyth.
It was bad. It was bad.
Right, lads. We'll move on to the main event of WrestleMania. The one that the majority of people were looking forward to, Roman Reigns, Edge, Daniel Bryan.
Didn't care.
It's a good one, and
by this point, I was dead.
You were dead because you
was actually asleep.
You were asleep.
Yeah.
He'd given up. He was the least helpful co-host of a Twitch stream that I think anyone's ever had part to be
I've got to
help off, and that includes his performance at Royal Rumble.
Where I actually slept.
No, Royal Rumble.
There was another one I slept on as well.
Yeah, you were fine. That was better than the that last match for last night. But yeah, you were drunk at your tree for Royal Rumble. So
I do need to say thank you to Witchy and Kirsty though for waking Link up a couple of times
with our
War Games.
War Games.
That wasn't what woke me up. What woke me up was
you dreaming about Kane's music.
No, Dan shouted, "Link, quick, wake up!"
Oh, there was something. I can't remember which one.
For some reason,
what it was.
You know,
something huge was going to happen.
Yeah, but do you remember the beginning of Kane's music, where it's like it's old school music, where it's got like the organs playing.
Link, wake up!
No, where it's got like the organs, where it's like.
Hey, what it was? It was a great spot.
I heard that in my ears, and I don't know how, because obviously it wasn't there.
I fully think you'd fallen asleep, mate.
Right.
I think I genuinely was like half dreaming.
No, it was the
point.
point.
I heard Kane's music as you shouted it, and I was like, Kane's coming out in the main event? What? Like, it doesn't even make sense.
It was the exact point I thought I was going to get double points for the main event.
Double points?
Well, no, kind of. I could have had Daniel Bryan or Edge win. And it was the time
it was the double submission on.
Oh,
I was like, I don't care who wins.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
I didn't care who won. Just as long as it weren't Roman.
Yeah, that was obviously some great things, but we were so
tired,
pooped.
We were drained.
We were talking. I was talking in terms of finale earlier about the this string. This string for us, it wasn't. I didn't mean the hair link. I meant the sheer love that we got from everybody on the Twitch stream. We ended up with for you guys on YouTube, a level 5 hype train. If you don't know, then it's a really good thing. And the fact that we completed a level 5 hype train for the second time out of 2 at our level is unheard of, really, for the level we're at on Twitch.
We said before, the first time it was hard to keep up with the chat. This time, it was a lot harder to keep up with the chat.
Yeah,
I think we managed pretty well keeping up with the chat last night.
But there was certain, for that little bit, there was people that come across before and we've kept, and there was a few other people we knew, but there was so many more new people coming over as well. It was
yeah.
right,
Adam,
now we're keeping up.
We again, thank you, Adam. I sort of was trying to give us a little push to try and get us to 100 subs on here on YouTube, and
Jesus Christ, did we do it?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting Adam. So I was expecting people. Maybe Adam might have just.
I knew people. If you've stuck around,
yeah, if you've stuck around, hello.
Yeah, thank you for that.
If Adam had, I was thought maybe Adam could put something in his WhatsApp chats, but I was never expecting him to actually do anything. Like, that wasn't what I was going for. I was going for the people that were in Twitch chat. I think we had about 14 people in. So I was like, well, if I can get maybe 4 or 5 now, and then we'll get 4 or 5 later, we'll get to 100 on Mania night. Sick. We got to 125 before I think maybe a couple of
before the pre-show ended.
Fizzled out now. But we hit 120 at the very least before pre-show even ended and Mania started. Then we hit the level. Then we had the hype train going on at the start of Mania, and it was like, what is happening? What is actually happening? And it's not the second time. That's the second time we've had that, and it's.
And Dan,
we are very grateful. Yes, mate.
We haven't because of that. We're still 125.
Have we?
Yeah.
My stats have been keep saying lower for some reason.
No,
but,
I'm looking at it now. It still says 125.
Nice. Lovely.
Yeah, that was It was.
So it does.
It was a big shock to. We was hoping for 10 to get to 100.
I guess some could say shocked the system. Sorry.
Yeah, but to get 35 in such a short space of time, that was a third of what we had.
So yeah. But we are very, very grateful, guys. So thank you very much for everybody that helped us last night on Twitch, helped us over on our YouTube. This has been an enjoyable podcast. We've had a lot to talk about. I think this is probably going to be our longest ever podcast.
I'll be very tired.
The plan is, actually, as this is the WrestleMania one, we're going to try. I'm not going to say we're going to stick to it, but I'm going to try and stick out our podcast on Spotify as well again. Mania is a good time to start, and we'll try and pick those up again because it's just another thing.
Probably be better on podcast because on Spotify because they won't see that I was half asleep halfway through it because I was literally just like here with my eyes closed, like. Yeah.
And they won't see me eating my dinner.
Although now they've heard me say it, I kind of ruined the illusion. Sorry, people on Spotify.
And if you can't tell, links pulled.
Yeah. Sorry, my internet's went a bit funny then. I don't know what happens to Zoom call.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, YouTubers went yeah. So I'm yeah.
I feel really bad, but I never mentioned something.
What's that? Go on, then.
It's been bugging me.
Mention it.
Yeah. Anyone seen that stat about AJ Styles after last night?
What's that?
Yeah.
Double Grand Slam champion.
Beautiful double
Grand Slam champion in 2 companies.
Yeah,
in 2 companies.
Yeah,
absolutely, very impressive.
First man to do it.
Goat.
Yeah. There's one other thing that we didn't mention. It's not quite an elephant in the room, but it's an elephant at the door. Ding dong! Hello.
Bailey was really good.
Bailey was absolutely fantastic last night. It's such a shame she wasn't on the card.
Also, it's such a shame.
The
last time we saw her on WrestleMania, we thought we might get Becky Lynch.
Oh God, yeah.
We got the Bella Twins.
Yeah.
She even gave a shout out to Michael Cole.
Although it makes sense because they were the only ones we didn't have from the sort of the bigger names of the Hall of Fame that didn't appear. So
John Cena bit really confused me.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah,
especially considering she's just been off and had a kid with another bloke.
Yeah, I wouldn't
like.
I'm not sure they should have mentioned it, to be honest, but there we are. Yeah. So thank you very much, guys. I think we will round out the podcast there. For those listening on Spotify, make sure you come and find us on YouTube. Give us a subscribe on YouTube. Anywhere else, follow us on
Facebook,
Twitch,
Twitch,
Facebook,
Discord.
TikTok. If you're on Discord, come and join us on Discord. The fun always continues over there every night.
Yeah.
We have also got our Pick Your Poison announcement coming later this week. I won't give the exact date, just in case it gets a little bit later.
It's going to be fun.
And if you got this far in the video, just comment below, Mania, baby! That's it. Let's have some comments. Well, I've not seen lots of comments for a while. Since the blending video. And also the blending videos video will be coming soon as well. So
More blending. Yay.
some good stuff coming, guys. Some good stuff coming over on our YouTube.
Guys.
Yeah.
We've all got to grow our hair for a bloody year.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm going to look like Adam Oakley, mate.
I'm so glad I shaved my head yesterday because.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I actually shaved it with a razor. Like I used Veet as well, just to make sure there was no hair at all, and I can already feel stubble. Like it's already grown back.
And on that bombshell, please leave a like, share, subscribe, because Link will be here forever otherwise moaning about it, and we will catch Pete.
I'm going to get my head tattooed. It will never grow back.
Catch you in the next one.
Peace! You're going to say bye, Pete? No? All right.